Welcome back, Chimera crew, and welcome to a very special episode of Wildcard Wednesday's AITA, a special holiday episode where all of the stories are somehow related to the holiday season. Let's begin! AITA for skipping Christmas with my family to be with my girlfriend's family. I'm a 30-year-old guy, and I've been dating my girlfriend, who's 23, for about 11 months now. Things are getting serious enough that I'm already thinking about marriage. Here's some background. I'm a white Canadian, and my girlfriend is from an Indian family, though she was born and raised here in Canada. My parents are fine with our relationship, but the same can't be said for my extended family. They live in a small northern town and frankly are pretty racist and ignorant. Because of this, I only interact with them when I'm visiting my hometown, which isn't often. Now, with Christmas approaching, I'd really like to spend it with my girlfriend's family in Toronto. They're Christian too, and they go all out for the holiday. It sounds like an amazing experience that I'd love to share with her. Here's the problem. I've always spent Christmas with my parents, so when I called my mom to let her know I wouldn't be coming home this year, she was really upset. She told me I could make my own decisions, but that both she and my dad would be hurt. She even suggested I bring my girlfriend along and assured me that she'd have a place at the table. But here's the thing. I don't want to expose my girlfriend to my extended family. They've made nasty comments about non-white Canadians in the past, and I'm not about to subject her to that during the holidays. I explained this to my mom, saying I'd rather avoid the whole situation and spend Christmas with my girlfriend's family instead. She hung up on me. Later, my older brother texted me saying, "Girls come and go, but parents and family can't be replaced." Other relatives have chimed in, calling and texting to guilt trip me, asking why I'm upsetting my family and breaking the family's Christmas tradition. So Reddit, am I the a-hole here? I just want to spend the holiday with my girlfriend and her family this year. I'm not trying to cut my parents out. I'll bring her to meet them eventually, just not during Christmas when extended family drama is unavoidable. OP, you are not being an a-hole in this situation. I'm a married man, and the thing with my wife's family lives rather far away, and my mother has always told me, even though I have spent every holiday with them, basically every holiday since I've been, born. I've spent Christmas, I've spent Thanksgiving, it's always been with my family. And every year she goes, "Hey, will you be coming to Thanksgiving, or do you need to go visit her family?" She's always open to the idea that when you are in a relationship, sometimes you have to prioritize the other side of the family in order to, you have joined families, and unless you're doing one big celebration with all of the extended family and in-laws, you're going to have to make a decision as to which side you visit on any given holiday. Now again, my parents live a little closer, so it's a little easier to go see them, and we usually make time for my wife's family on a different, not on the actual holidays, as travel can be difficult, but we do go see them. But the option is always there, and nobody's feelings are going to be hurt. Your parents know what the family's like, and while you say they're supportive, I kind of wonder if they might not be as supportive as they claim. Maybe they're still associating with the racist family, so I don't know. Maybe they're not as supportive of your relationship as they say they are, and that's why they're acting the way they are. And as for your brother, who says that girls come and go, but you can't replace family and parents, you absolutely can. Family are the people who you put in your life because they improve your life, and you can't see your life without them. It has nothing to do with whether or not you are related by blood. Everyone has a chosen family, whether they realize it or not. And that chosen family can include your blood relations, but it need not if that be the case. So no, you are not the a-hole in this situation, and go enjoy Christmas with your girlfriend's family. Next up, we have a story titled AITA for deciding to skip my dad's family Christmas gift opening. Alright, here's the situation. I'm 24 female, and my dad's side of the family has their annual Christmas gift opening tradition coming up on Sunday the 15th. but honestly, I really don't want to go. For the past 2 or 3 years, I haven't enjoyed this part of the holidays at all. In fact, last year, I skipped it entirely because the anxiety was so overwhelming that it made me feel physically sick for an entire week. My dad, of course, hasn't let me live it down. His family always insists that Christmas is their holiday, but the pressure and expectations that come with it feel intense, even though they'll claim otherwise. Here's some context. My dad's family can be pretty judgmental, and their idea of humor often involves jokes that single people out in ways that are just not funny. The gift opening itself is a drawn-out affair. There are 15 of us, and we open gifts one by one. It takes hours, and I absolutely hate having that much attention on me. My grandparents live 8 hours away, so I only see them once or twice a year. However, they stay with us during the holidays, so skipping this event wouldn't mean I'm avoiding them entirely. And I've repeatedly told everyone I don't want gifts anymore, but no one seems to listen. Part of my hesitation definitely stems from anxiety, something I'm actively working on. But here's the thing. My dad has never been great at validating my feelings or supporting me emotionally, so if I go and end up feeling panicked, I know I'll be completely on my own to deal with it. I've already told my dad I might have to work that day, which he didn't take well, but I can't bring myself to tell him the real reason. I simply don't want to go. If I did, I know I'd never hear the end of it. At this point, I've made up my mind. I'm not going. But I know it's going to upset my dad, and I can already feel the fallout brewing. So what do you think? AITA for choosing not to just go along with it? OP, definitely NTA here. You are just worrying about your own mental well-being, which it is perfectly valid to do, especially when it seems like no one else in your family is willing to. Christmas gift opening with my family is much in the way it sounds like yours. Each person goes one at a time, though there's really only 5 of us at Christmas Day. Me, my mom, dad, sister, and my wife. But it was still an adjustment for my wife when she started having Christmas with my family, because that is not how they did it in her family. They would all just open up their gifts, and she won it. It does take a minute, but it also puts, everyone's eyes are on the person opening the gift, and that was an adjustment for my wife. She also has anxiety and doesn't necessarily like that much attention being on her, but she did tell me about it. I supported her. She did decide to try and just learn to enjoy it, and she has, but again, she always knows that if she doesn't want that kind of a situation, we're willing to make adjustments for her because we love her and she is important to our family. And that's the thing, is you help family in these situations. And it sounds like your dad's family is just selfish and really just wants their version of Christmas, and anyone else's feelings be damned. So no, you're not an a-hole for prioritizing your own mental well-being, especially when your dad's family seems to care so little about it. Next, we have AITA for charging my family for baking. Hey everyone, I have a bit of a story to share, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So I'm a young teen theater kid, and for years I had a tradition of baking and decorating sugar cookies for the cast and crew of every show I was in. At first, it was pretty simple, basic designs and small batches, but as the cast got bigger and my skills improved, these cookies turned into elaborate works of art. Eventually, I was spending 12 hours in the kitchen making cookies for 50 people, plus 3 other desserts to accommodate dietary restrictions. The last time I baked for a show was in fall of 2023, and since then, I've taken a break from baking for large groups. Now, let's fast forward to my family's annual Christmas party. For the past 2 years, my mom has hosted this event with about 50 to 65 guests. My younger twin sisters, both young teens, usually bake 3 to 4 desserts while I handle sugar cookies and a charcuterie board. The charcuterie board is quick, maybe an hour tops, but the cookies? Those take a lot of time. I've been making around 40 cookies each year, with my parents covering the ingredients cost. Here's where things get interesting. This year, the guest list has doubled to over 100 people, and my mom asked me to make 100 cookies. Seeing my hesitation, she offered me $75 as an incentive. However, considering the sheer amount of time and effort this would take over 4 days with baking and decorating after school and around finals prep, I suggested we try something different. I asked to be paid an hourly rate instead. I proposed tracking my hours and negotiating a rate after the party, with an initial suggestion of $20 per hour. Totally open to compromise, though. My mom wasn't thrilled. She said it was unfair to charge for something I should do as a contribution to the family, and pointed out that I didn't charge for theater cookies. My dad agreed, and my sisters were annoyed since they're baking for free, but I don't think their situation is my responsibility. If they want to be paid, they can ask. To me, this felt reasonable. This isn't just a small task, it's a 12-plus hour commitment during one of the busiest times of the year. I didn't accept the $75 up front and change my mind later. I was clear about my request from the start. I think everybody sucks here, to be perfectly honest. You are a kid. Your parents pay for so much for you right now, and you're also in theater, which as a former theater kid, I know is expensive in and of itself. So asking you to help out with the family Christmas party baking, especially when it's not just you, your sisters are doing it as well, and you're asking to be paid an hourly rate like you're an employee, is a little bit of an a-hole move, OP. However, your mom just out of nowhere doubling the amount you have to do, and close to finals, is also a little bit of an a-hole move, as you really do need to focus more on your education than on your baking. So asking you for a 12-plus hour task, free or otherwise, is a bit of a dick move for a parent to do. I won't call your sisters or your dad a-holes because they're just they seem to be kind of caught in the middle of this, but you're also advocating for yourself without also advocating for your sisters who are doing this for free. And you're like, oh, that's not my problem. Well, it does set a weird precedent. So if you're going to get paid, then they're going to need to get paid, and that's going to get expensive really quickly. I think the compromise, too, would be for you to be like, hey, maybe I can't make 100, or I'm not going to make them as fancy. Make them the way you used to with, just make the cookies, sprinkle some cookie sugar on them, call it a day. I think there were better ways to go about this, but again, overall it seems very unimportant. But I would say both you and your mom are both kind of being a-holes in this situation. And we have an update. After some back and forth, my dad agreed to pay me $15 per hour for the cookies, which is totally fine with me. I ended up baking 134 cookies. My hands are so sore, and I'm starting the decorating tonight. So what do you think? AITA for asking to be paid for this, or was I fair to advocate for my time and effort? Let me know your thoughts. Again, I do kind of think it was wrong for you to ask to be paid rather than just maybe editing what you were going to do because of the time and the proximity to finals and the effect that might have on your education. You seem to think you are a professional baker, and if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. But, asking to be paid and your mom demanding double what you normally do, you both sound kind of entitled. Alright, Chimera crew, let's do one more before we end today's episode. So, for our final story, we have AITA for refusing to drive 3 hours to Christmas lunch. Alright, here's the situation. A week ago, I floated the idea to my brother about hosting Christmas lunch at my place. I thought it'd be nice to have him and his wife over. He seemed on board with spending Christmas together, but there was a catch. He didn't want to deal with the holiday traffic to get across the city to me. Fair enough, I thought, so we came up with an alternative, celebrating on a different day, which seemed like a good compromise. To make things even easier, I suggested we pick a spot halfway between us for the celebration. That way, neither of us would have to deal with the full brunt of the commute. But fast forward to today, he calls me up after chatting with his wife and throws out a new plan. They'd host Christmas lunch at their place instead. Now, my first reaction was a bit confused. I asked him, doesn't this bring us back to the same problem, dealing with the holiday traffic? After all, his reason for not wanting to come to my place was the hassle of the drive. And that's when things got tense. He got defensive and quickly suggested, you know what, let's just do our own thing for Christmas. Here's a little context to add some color to this story. My brother regularly drives long distances, like every couple of weeks. Meanwhile, I rarely drive far, and I have health issues that make long trips much more challenging for me. On top of that, he actually suggested that I host at my place last year. I just moved in at the time, so it didn't happen, but now that I'm settled, I thought hosting would make sense. So, AITA for standing firm and not wanting to make a 6-hour round trip for Christmas lunch, especially when the whole issue started because he didn't want to deal with traffic? OP, 100% not the a-hole here, and I have sometimes found myself in a very similar situation to you. Specifically, my wife's family lives 3 hours away, and we had an argument this year, which we kind of do every year, but it's usually not feasible the day of the holiday to make the 3-hour drive down to them and then the 3-hour drive back. And this has been for a number of reasons beyond just the amount of time. I mean, we used to have, before he unfortunately passed, our ferret Roro had to be given medicine at certain times. So, 6 hours worth of driving definitely hindered how long we could spend down there before having to make the 3-hour drive back to go see and make sure that Roro had his medicine. We had already planned to do Christmas on a different day than the actual day with them this year, which we normally celebrate Christmas with them closer to New Year's, but it especially wouldn't have worked day of this year as Christmas is on a Wednesday, and both my wife and I work Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas. So it's, Christmas is on a random Wednesday. We leave work on Tuesday, celebrate Christmas on Wednesday, head right back into work to finish out the week on Thursday and also work Friday. So not really any time to comfortably make that 6-hour drive and also get to spend really any time with her family under those conditions. So that's why we were choosing to, pick a different date. Well, there was a fight, and now it seems like we're probably not going down at all for Christmas this year, all because, and again, we were trying to accommodate, but 6 hours of driving is a lot, even for family, and we live about 40 minutes from my family, and we'll go months without seeing them. So it's not like we're just spending all this time with my family and neglecting hers, but driving is not nothing. Driving is time, driving is expense, it is energy, and 6 hours of it, that's a quarter of the day. That's a lot of time. And if you have to do it all in one day, it really does affect the amount of quality time you get to spend somewhere before having to make the drive back. Because guess what? You gotta sleep sometime. So no, OP, you are not the a-hole. And that's our video today, guys. I do so hope you enjoyed these stories today. Do you think my ratings, my judgments are correct? Was I right? Was I wrong? Share your thoughts about the stories in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion on these. Also, be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you have not done so already. Consider becoming a channel member, maybe joining the Patreon. It would make my absolute dream of a holiday if we could somehow get 100 people to join as $1 tier YouTube members here on the channel. So just, $1 a month for you, but a world of change for me. So if you enjoy this content, be sure to come back for the next one. And you know what, guys? I'm Mr. Sean. This is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day, and even beta tomorrow, and very happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the show. We hope you'll stick around. Mr. Sean is here to entertain the crowd. We've got a bit of everything, 'cause everything's allowed. Chimera miniatures is here to stay. We hope we make you proud. Oh, we're diving deep into the dark and the strange, finding the relics that time couldn't cage. Lost and found, buried underground. Bring it to light what's been hidden and bound. The Chimera stage, we set them free. Mr. Shawnee's got the key.